Hello my friends, Mr. E here, and today with a leveling guide for the Skitarii. Took me a little while to put one of these together. Probably should have had it out earlier, but hey, maybe you're just leveling your Skitarii now. Maybe you want to level them a second time just for fun, or maybe you held off on buying that Skitarii, back 10 or 2 weeks ago or whatever that was, and you want to level them now that you've had some time to fall in love with Darktide. Well, whatever the case is, let's get started here. We're going to first cover what's happening in levels 1 through 5, then 6 through 10, then 11 through 20, and then 21 through 30. So with that being said, this is what you'll start with. No curios, obviously, and these will be, normal-ass gray weapons. They'll suck really bad, but you just have to play a game. There's no ways about it. You can't cheese anything else out. And by the way, we're going off the assumption you've never played with any other class or leveled up any other masteries before, that this is just like a completely fresh account. What would you do in that case? So in that case, what we're going to do is we're going to play that one game. When we come back, we'll be level 3, I think. And at level 2, you will unlock the weapon we're going to use the rest of the time, which is the combat blade. So go ahead and get yourself a combat blade. I prefer the Mark 6, but whatever combat blade you get. And then whenever you get the, as you're playing with us throughout the game, just keep upgrading it at the upgrade station whenever it's possible and you have the resources. Try to get a stat line that looks something like this. It's not super particular, but try to get the lowest stat in mobility, and then riposte and bleed, starting with this lacerate thing down here, starting with lacerate, because these bleed stacks, I'm currently in a Psychanium that has malice difficulty, so that's not even the first difficulty, but like this difficulty here, if you run into a crusher, as you can see, those bleed stacks are going to do a lot of work against an enemy like that, and especially against enemies like gunners and stuff. All you got to do is just lazily swoosh your little blade back and forth, and that's all you got to do to clear those guys out. And it's really good at hordes too. So this is a great weapon because it requires next to no actual combat ability, and it's very fast to run around with as well. So we're going to sling around. But also, so that's going to happen at level 2, but let's go ahead and do our talents as if we were going to level 5. So for the first 5 levels, I want you to do these right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Ending with the Spheric Command. This is the single best thing on the entire tree. I'm pretty convinced of it. The Spheric Command is disgusting, especially at these low levels where this skull can pretty much just play the entire game for you, because any sort of gunners or anything like that, it's just going to take him out, no problem. We can even split the damage between multiple targets, and he can just go all day. And because we don't have an ability, we're not going to be spending our resources on any sort of ability anytime soon. We can just use all of our resources to cast this skull over and over, which is very effective at doing what it needs to do. So that's going to be awesome. We'll be running around and shanking dudes with this, and then anything at long range, just go ahead and send the Servo Skull to deal with it. So that's levels 1 through 5. And nothing else will change. You won't have any curio slots yet, but that'll change really shortly. So now we're going to go for levels 6 through 10. In the level 6 through 10 bracket, the first thing that's going to happen is at level 7, we're going to grab our second weapon here, which should be the arc rifle. Doesn't really matter what sort of layout you have here. I like flak armor and unyielding, and then whatever blessings that you prefer. Dum-Dum is good, Cavalcade is good if you want to go rapid fire with it. You could do the one that makes it arc additional times. This is just a solid secondary. It's really good at clearing out lots of hordes, so if you see a big scary horde and you don't want to get in there, you can just keep it range and just start doing like this. And as you can see there, just a couple of shots, two shots to take out yeah, that's some pretty serious damage. At malice difficulty, this thing is going to absolutely wreck. Of course, yours won't be all the way powered up, but like I said before with the knife, as you are continuing to play and power this thing up, just be trying to steer it towards stats. It looks something like what you see on the screen. Try to get blessings like Dum-Dum, Cavalcade, something like that, and you'll be all good. Also, at level 8, you're going to want to, I think it's at level 8, you're going to want to pick up your first curio. Make certain you're putting 10% experience gain on there. Make the rest of the leveling experience go a little bit faster. And then we're going to go back over here to the talent tree and allocate our next 5 talent points. And can you guess where these are going to go? That's wrong. We're not going to go Cord Claw Strike. We're actually going to go and get ourselves some regeneration, which can be pretty difficult to get otherwise. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. So these talents here, this is going to give us tons of toughness regeneration. We're going to get 3%, perhaps even more from this. And then we're going to get reduced damage taken here, more regeneration here, and some melee damage. The skull can proc all this for us, so we can get lots of safety and regeneration from that. We will have plenty of damage at this low level. We're only at level 10, so we're probably dipping our toes into Malice difficulty at this point. And yeah, that's going to be very, very good setup for level 10. Now let's go on to level 11. So in this bracket of between a level 11 to 20, nothing is going to change here. Our weapons are set in stone for the rest of the game, so go ahead and just continue upgrading your weapons to make them look similar to what you see here. Remember, don't expend a lot of resources trying to roll for a absolutely perfect weapon with this stat line like that at the shop, because those perfect stat lines are biased towards showing up when you're a higher level. So just keep a lookout for that. And then the arc rifle, same deal. Just keep leveling this bad boy up and getting it to a higher power. The second thing that'll happen is that at level, I think, 16, you'll unlock your second curio slot. Go ahead and slot another curio in there. Make certain that it's got an experience bonus on it. Toughness is probably the best curio type to get, but whatever you can find in the shop is going to be good. So now we're coming back over here, and we're going to allocate our talent points from level 11 all the way up to level 20, so we get 10 more points here. So we're going to go 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, all the way down here with the Cord Claw Strike for 16, 17, 18, 19, and finally 20 will allocate our Medicae Service Skull. By the time you're reaching level 20, this is usually when you're dipping into the Heresy difficulty, and at Heresy difficulty, players start to really, really struggle. You'll encounter more heavily armored targets, you'll encounter more bosses. That's why we're grabbing the Cord Claw here. The Cord Claw is going to allow us to chunk those bosses and get rid of those big targets pretty easily. And we're also grabbing Medicae Servo Skull so that we can help our team. We will likely, if we're playing appropriately and using our skull, you know, to snipe targets, we can be pretty safe, whereas our team is probably going to take a lot of down. So we can help them get out of those pinches. And the goal is to never lose a single game, right? You want to just win, win, win all the way through. This is a great way to secure a win, keep a teammate off the floor. And there you go. So that's level all the way through level 20. Let's go back over here, and then at level 23, I want to say, you'll pick up your last curio, allocate those 10% experience points on there, and that's all we'll do on this page. And then we're back over here to allocate our last 10 talent points from levels 21 all the way up to 30. We'll go 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, and then up here 28, 29, and 30. So all told, what we have here is a build that is very much defensively focused. We have a ton of stuff that's going to keep the damage off of you as a player. We've got regeneration from Surge Extension. We've got regeneration when we take damage with kinetic energy distributors. We've got a prevention of getting dogpiled on with overcharged transfer lattice. This can actually literally prevent you from getting dogpiled on by shocking dogs that pounce on you. And we've got a good amount of regeneration as well on our crits, and then our just general passive generation over time. And we're going to rely on our Servo Skull to do a lot of work and get lots of range kills for us to keep these sort of attacks trickling in. And yeah, just generally having lots of capacitance to do lots of shooting and lots of Cord Claw striking. It's a very, very comfy build, has no problems clearing all the difficulties in the game. You could run this all the way to half 40 if you really, really wanted to, and it would be pretty dang good. It's very, very similar to the build I put out just a day or so ago with the Shiv. So if you want to do the Skitarii build, that's only a few slight modifications away, and this one is just probably a little bit stronger through the leveling process. But once you get everything maxed out, you can swap over to Skitarii or whatever other build you want to do. Check out my channel for all the rest of the builds that I've done so far for the class, and I hope you have fun. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope this helps. Mystery out of here. Bye bye.